The stories are continuing. This is a very insightful story that Rabbi Shalom Spalter is relating. So he says, the summer of 1972, so he went on Merkesh Shlichus. We all know what that is. And he went together with his friend, Rabbi Levi Bucket, who today is where in California, Los Angeles, no? You know him. You were there. So before we went on Merkesh Shlichus, we had to be tested. That's how it worked. All the Bachim with the Merkesh Shlichus had to be tested first in Nigla, and in Chassidus. We went to New Jersey, in 4 cities, and one of them was Passaic. There was a shul, and the Rav of the shul was a Litvischer Rav, and the son of one of the great Litvischer Gedolim, what doesn't he say his name? In Eretz Yisrael, who's still alive. So the father of this Rav is a big Rosh Yeshiva, big Gaon in Eretz Yisrael. Could find out who, it's not a mystery.
Doesn't say which shul?
No, in a second we could find out. Anyway, he doesn't want to say his name, you'll see why. Because he received us somewhat coldly. Which was the nature of the things, the nature of life. A Litvish Rav, he thought, he says, that the Bachrim, the Lubavitcher Bachrim, they only learn Tanya. They don't learn enough. They're not London. Sorry, you said that later. And he was cordial. He allowed us in. But to say that Heir Pondov, he accepted us warmly, not quite. No, we started a discussion with him. And we asked him, where does the Rav come from? He was not American born. He says, you don't know where I come from. Like Lubavitch Bachman don't know anything outside the world of Lubavitch. So he said, no, tell us. So he says, you heard of Rabbi Shimon Shkop? Now, you guys know who this person is? So I'll tell you later. So we said, of course, we learned his Chidushim. He was a big Litvische Godel. And his Ha'oras are printed in the back of every standard Gemara. Not so long ago. He lived 100 years ago. So, here we learned his Chidushim in the yeshiva. He opened up his eyes. He was shocked to hear. And then Shalom starts to tell him a pilpul of Shimon Shkop. Friends, in the Litvische world, he is him, the Ktos, another Reb Chaim. There's certain basics for it that every bochum that holds by learning is learning. And he's one of them. Okay, so he just learned something. So he's quoting Reb Shimon Shkop. And he was a renowned misnagid. So the Rav is like he's coming to life. So after we talked, he goes into shul, and after davening, he gets up and says, these two Lubavitcher Bachrim, I thought that aside from Tanya, they don't know anything. And they sat in my house, I went to his house. We went over the whole Shas of Poskim, and they are baki the whole Torah, he said in exaggeration, deliberately, but he was so bespilus that the Bachrim were lomdim, and they knew that which they're learning in the literature world. So he says, years passed, I forgot about the story. Lately, he says, my friend, my Bucket, Levi Bucket, sent me the report that we had written to the Rebbe. And we also wrote into our report of our whole summer this encounter with the Rav in Passaic. And Rabbi Bucket had written it. He written the Duch, the Din V'Cheshm, the report. And he wrote to the Rebbe, we hope that we cause the Rebbe Nachas. And the Rebbe circled those words and wrote, Goram li Nachas Ruach Rav. You caused me great Nachas Ruach. And then the Rebbe added, Duch L'Dugma, this is a report, L'Dugma as a model report that others should also emulate. I mean, the story, Yesh Lahayrich, but can I tell you, Avodas HaMayones, it began with the Torah world, and it's not over, and that's really the big obstacle. It's a big obstacle. And the Bachrim have to be lomdim, because that's the way you Makadev, like this story. A Litvish Yid is on his own ground, on Lomdus, and the Rebbe has given us so much material, Chidushim in many sugis in Shas. And that's a big part of B'yas HaMashiach, bringing the Mayonis to the Torah world. As it turns out, ironically, who is doing that job? The Chabad houses in the most distant places in the world, like Asia, etc. So they went there ostensibly for Jews who are in the who's in Asia, backpacking Israelis, etc. And that's why they're there. But it turns out, and no one could have foretold this, that what's the biggest revolution? It's Chassidic and Litvish business people or people on vacation who end up going to Chabad because that's the only place to go, and they're hearing Chassidus and they're being inspired by Chabad, and they're breaking down the barriers. The paradox, the distant, lonely Chabad houses, far from the centers of the citadels of Torah, they're the ones that are being Mekadev the Torah world, the Satmar world, the Torah literature world, to Lubavitch. Amazing, amazing thing. Bottom line is the Shlich has to be a Lamdan, Lubavitch has to be a Lamdan. It's part of, a very deep part of our Shlichus. Have a wonderful day.